Well, good Thursday morning, and a wet one it has been, not only across south central but southeast, southwest Alaska. Large portion of the state continues to hold on to a wet weather pattern. You can see a live look outside this coming from atop Baldy out towards Eagle River, overlooking Eagle River Valley, and you can see those overcast skies. We've got a lower deck of those overcast clouds, and then of course we've got some of those higher altitude clouds as well. The rain showers for inland locations, we've actually been trending on the drier side. Now we will see more rain into the afternoon, late afternoon and early evening hours, but for now we're beginning to see some drier conditions across parts of south central. You can see those temperatures across the state: 47 degrees in Anchorage, 39 in McGrath. Out towards southeast, we're talking about those temperatures in the 50s. Flood watch is in effect for southeast through tomorrow morning. This is where we're going to be watching for excessive runoff. That could lead to the potential for some flooding, more so through the northern inner channels down through Juneau and about as far south as Petersburg. Now, Ketchikan not up under that flood watch, but that does not mean you're not going to see some heavy rainfall, as you can still expect to see up to 2+ inches when all is said and done. So we've got a series of lows that are going to impact us not only today, but really on through the weekend and into next week as well. And this system weather pattern is going to stay with us really for the foreseeable future, meaning daily rain showers, overcast skies, and we're going to be talking about afternoon highs at or below seasonal values for at least the southern half of the state. We're going to trend a bit on the warmer side near the Beaufort Sea coast, but for the rain itself as a whole, really taking aim on south central and southeast. There's that rain building in towards southeast this morning, and we're going to be talking about some gusty conditions out towards the panhandle, where we could see some gust upwards of about 35 miles per hour. Significantly heavy rain can be expected. We're talking about 2 to 4 inches within that flood watch, but don't be surprised if we see some localized amounts top out near 5-6 inches in some of those heavier downpours that we do see. So if you live in some flood-prone locations, go ahead and take the necessary precautions, as we have seen some of those water levels certainly on the higher side, and any excessive runoff will continue to inundate or lead to some of those flooding issues. So that flood watch continues through the remainder of today, tapers off into your Friday, but we are expected to see some dry time tomorrow before more widespread rain builds in for the weekend. So we're going to continue to hold on to this wet weather pattern. You can see here in south central, we did start off the morning with some widespread rain, but there is that drier conditions we've been talking about for inland locations. Of course, we can't rule out an isolated or scattered shower here and there, but most of the rain really taking aim on the eastern Prince William Sound, where we're going to see the potential for up to 1 1/4 of an inch of rainfall into the evening. Now, inland locations, even though we are trending drier right now, more rain can be expected into the late afternoon and early evening hours as we continue to remain locked in place with this weather pattern, which we'll get to here in a minute. Since midnight, we've seen 2/10 of an inch of rain in Anchorage, Soldotna, through the valley, lighter amounts, but still holding on to that rainfall potential. Portage seeing upwards of 3/10 of an inch of rainfall. And we've got the heaviest rain that has been occurring out towards southeast, where Sitka is approaching 1.5 inches of rainfall, Juneau approaching 1 inch of rain, while Ketchikan has only seen less than 1/10 of an inch. It's seeing this rainfall as far north as a Nome, where we got just over 1/10 of an inch of rain. So a large portion of the state is remaining locked in place with this upper level low, and around that upper level low, we have a parade of surface lows that's impacting the region, really parading just south of just north of the Aleutians, I should say, and then through the northern Gulf of Alaska. And that weather pattern is unfortunately going to stay with us into the weekend and next week. If you are looking for some dry time, we are trending a bit on the drier side for our Friday for both south central as well as southeast and parts of southwest before more rain builds in into the weekend. So temperatures today, we're going to struggle to break out of the 40s for some locations where we manage to stay on the drier side. That's where we're going to easily manage to climb into the 50s. For the most part, though, this is going to be a cool day compared to what we've seen the past several afternoons. So here's the outlook ahead. through the remainder of this week on into the weekend. That area of low pressure that's weakening as it moves into Prince William Sound. We're going to see that rain taper off overnight into Friday. You can see that dry time building into parts of the Panhandle. And then for inland locations for our Friday, trending drier, but don't be surprised if we see a spotty to isolated shower for parts of the Kenai Anchorage Bowl. As well as the valley, but the overall outlook for Friday is going to be largely dry compared to what we've seen today. And then we're watching an area of low pressure that's going to skirt to our south. That's going to keep rain in the forecast for the Gulf Coast region. And then for inland locations of South Central, rain looks to return for both our Saturday and Sunday. And you can see that widespread rain returns out towards southeast as well. And then another low on the backside of that looks to primarily impact the Panhandle into next week, but we're going to stay locked in place with this pattern. So what's causing it? Well, we've got this upper level low out over parts of the Bering as well as Chukchi Sea. That's going to really just situate itself and remain locked in place there. And around the periphery of that, we've got several lows that are skirting just to the south of that. And then the flow here in South Central is coming out of the southwest and the upper levels of the atmosphere. That means that we're going to continue to pump in plenty of moisture across the region, keeping us on the wetter side and cooler side for the foreseeable future. We're comfortably sitting in the top 5 wettest years currently sitting in the top 5 wettest years when it comes to the amount of precipitation that we've seen, and that looks to show no signs of letting up as we welcome in the rest of September. So here's your temperature outlook with this weather pattern that we've got. We're going to see at least the southern half of the state trending on the colder side. That's largely due to the cloud coverage, and there it is out towards the Beaufort Sea coast and parts of the northeastern interior, which could see a tilt towards warmer conditions as we welcome in the latter half of September. So we are going to continue to see a typical September-like pattern, although a bit on the cooler side. And again, that's largely due to this wet and cloudy weather that we've got. So temperatures today expected to top out in the lower 50s, more so along the southern half of the state. We will see some 40s where we do hold on to that cloudy conditions for a bit longer into the interior. This is where we're seeing some of the nicer weather. 58 degrees in Fairbanks. Can't rule out a spot shower or two today. Expected to stay on the drier side through at least Saturday before scattered activity makes a return to the interior as we welcome in next week and a good portion of next week. And then along the slope, outside of some coastal fog and a spot shower, you can see those temperatures warming into the lower 40s. So pretty much a wash, rinse, and repeat weather pattern here over the next 7 days. Now again, Friday trending drier for inland locations. But again, don't be alarmed if we see a spot shower or isolated shower. Most of that activity, though, will be near the Gulf Coast region. And then as we welcome in the weekend and first part of next week, you can see showers stay with us. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s, overnight in the 40s. So again, that's just slightly below where we should be for this time of year. But we're going to continue to hold on to this wet weather pattern. There's a live look again outside. You can see those overcast skies continuing to hold steady with this. We may see some peaks of sunshine tomorrow, but overall expect limited sunshine for at least the next 7 days. We'll have more on that coming up in the noon as well as 4 p.m. in the evening shows. For now, have a great Thursday.